Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today's video is going to be jam-packed to the roof, the rafters if you will, full of very exciting slash interesting slash intriguing new makeup releases or upcoming makeup releases. As always, when I do these videos, I must thank and give credit to these amazing Instagram accounts who have all of the sneak peeks, the tea. They spill it first, they catch these releases before anybody else, and they are very, very gracious in allowing me to use some of their photos sometimes, or just the information that they've provided us with to make these videos in the first place, let alone prepare to decide whether or not I want to pick them up, which is so helpful to plan in advance. So I would highly recommend following these accounts on Instagram. They are all amazing. Now, without further ado, we'd best get started because there's a lot to talk about here. There's a lot. It's starting to happen. The Christmas period, like it or not, is around the corner. It's coming, okay? Once we hit October, there's no going back, okay? I'm just poised to receive the yearly text from my sister asking for Christmas gift list ideas. And she generally sends that out towards the end of September, so I'm waiting on that. And these releases are starting to scream Christmas season, holiday season to me. And we're starting to see a snowball of new releases because it's that time of year. It's sales season, then it's Christmas season right off the back of that. So there's some stuff to talk about. Now, first up, I've decided, don't know how you guys feel about this, but I thought it would be a great idea to start including the odd fragrance or two in these videos, because if you don't know, I'm obsessed with fragrance almost as much as I am makeup, and maybe even more, you know. Controversial. I have a large fragrance collection. My passion, my joy comes from niche fragrances. I'm obsessed with niche fragrances, finding fragrance that smells like nothing I've ever smelled before, with stunning, unique notes that doesn't smell like everybody else, that has incredible performance. So I'm really getting into my niche fragrances. I wear fragrance every single day, even if I'm not leaving the house, whereas makeup maybe a few times a week. So yeah, maybe I'm more of a fragrance girl than a makeup girl. Who could say? I wouldn't like to say. So I'm going to start throwing in some fragrances here as well, especially because this month there are some very, very exciting new fragrances coming up. So the first one I want to talk about is this Kilian's Apple Brandy on the Rocks. So previously Kilian had an Apple Brandy fragrance that's kind of been in their existing line for a while. I think it was discontinued. Popular fragrance. But they have now brought out this Apple Brandy on the Rocks, which is part of their liquors collection. So you guys, if you followed me for a while, you'll know I was obsessed with Angel's Share when it came out last year, I think. Did it? I think so. Time has stood still for a lot of us. So this is that same range. So it has the same packaging. These, Kilian is amazing because they do refillable packaging. So this stunning refillable packaging, I love it. I just love how it looks like a glorious brandy glass, and it's just stunning. In person, it's gorgeous. I love it. Angel's Share, one of my favorite all-time fragrances. So anything that kind of is hinting towards that same vibe, I'm here for. This one though has got me a little, I don't know. The reviews are very mixed, which I guess all fragrance reviews are. But yeah, there's some mixed feelings about this one. So for a start, it's called Apple Brandy, but it has no apple in it. So that's weird. What it has is pineapple. Let's see what they did there. It has rum, vanilla, and Roxanne, some of my ultimate favorite notes to see in a program. What is happening? In a perfume. Who am I? Where are we? What are we doing? Rum, vanilla, and Roxanne. Those are some of my absolute like notes I look for in a perfume. So that's got me intrigued, but then it's got bergamot and pineapple and cardamom, which definitely aren't notes I look for, but those are in the top. So generally I look, you know, the middle and the base notes, because the top is gone, but in a moment. So I can forgive that. I will almost certainly pick this up. I've still been kind of umming and ahhing because the reviews are kind of mixed, but this will enter my home. It's just a case of, I try to buy like one fragrance a month. unless it's my birthday or something. So yeah, there's a few fragrances I have that I want to enter my home, and I'm just not sure what order, but that one is going to be entering it. We're not sure when. So next up, let's talk about this Too Faced Cinnamon Swirl eyeshadow palette. Man, that's how I feel about it. In sound format, that's how I feel about this. I saw this picture on Trendmood and I was like, is that new, or is that the exact same palette that has come out every single autumn for the last 58 years approximately? It's just more of the same. I swear this is the exact same vibe, exact same palette, and it just looks no different to me. I've never really been interested in those palettes. They just they never really fully grab me and, you know, drag me through the hedge. They've never fully tickled my pickle enough for me to pick one up, and this one is like no different. I swear they just calling it something slightly different, or maybe changing the scent every year. So that is a very hard, fast and easy pass. I'm not going to waste any more of your time on that one. That is just straightforward no, I'm afraid. Next up, there is like a whole autumn collection, I guess we'll call it, from Fenty. So I have things to say on all of these products. The first thing is this eyeshadow palette. I would highly recommend, I was going to say that you don't buy this, but that's maybe a bit strong, okay? I haven't seen this palette, this eyeshadow palette, in person, so I don't want to say it's awful. The colour story looks nice. I've seen swatches of this eyeshadow palette and they were some of the worst swatches I've ever seen in my entire little life. I don't think I've seen swatches as poor as that. I can't remember when. So I warn you, I take heed, please. Wait for reviews. I've seen that Jenna has already reviewed this. Please check out Jenna Fraser's review on this one, certainly, before you think about putting any money near it, even on a sale. Because to me, it very much looks like this is not going to be great as far as quality and performance. So that's my warning to you. Obviously, I'm not your mum. You can do whatever you like. It's your own money. That's just my advice, okay? Take it or leave it. But for me, that's categorically not going to be taking my money from me. I would say I was going to, before I saw those swatches, it would have been a pass anyway, because it's just, the colour story is quite nice, but having just purchased the Natasha Denona Retro palette, which I got on my peepers today, FYI, it's just, I don't need this. And I've never been impressed by Fenty's eyeshadow formula. I've never seen anyone raving about it. It seems like it's one of the products for the brand that's kind of, they're missing the mark on, and they need to, you know, address this, because they've got some amazing products, but I don't think eyeshadow is one of them. So yeah, I was already hesitant. Already it would have been a pass, but then I saw those swatches and it was like a flying pass. A like, don't even look at it kind of pass. So then they have this trio, this highlight trio. So what I love about this is it's very rich. I love that. This is what annoys me about colour ranges, inclusivity, shade ranges of all different products, because what you'll find is that the black owned brands somehow manage to cater to lighter skin tones, but the white owned brands cannot return the favour. So we can see that it can be done. Black owned brands like Oma Beauty, like Fenty Beauty, they don't just like ignore all of the fair and the light shades, but white owned brands do tend to ignore a lot of the time the deeper end of the spectrum. So that is just something to be aware of. Like, I hear people all the time saying, well, not everything has to cater to everybody, and you know, brands have their target audience, blah blah blah. And I'm like really uncomfortable with the idea that any brand's target audience should be dictated by the colour of someone's skin. That's an alarming message to me. But at the same time, if black owned brands can do it, then white owned brands should be doing it, shouldn't? That's how I feel. So what I love about this palette is it looks like it would work for lots of skin tones, because it doesn't seem to have, the highlights don't seem to have a huge amount of base. Here's where I'm I'm out. They look very sparkly and quite sheer as far as the base colour. They look like they're essentially kind of tinted sparkle. I could be wrong, but this picture that I'm going to show you now tells me I'm right. Okay, this is like, oh, that would look like a texture party on my skin. I don't know. I mean, that girl is very beautiful, stunning, smooth skin, very, very youthful. I've got a lot of lines in this area, and I don't really want a load of sparkle there just to, you know, say, hi, here's my lines. I'd rather not, if I'm honest. I go for a smoother luminosity as opposed to a lot of shimmer and glitter, and generally Fenty's highlights fall far beyond, like, on the glittery spectrum, they go way south for me. So this is a pass for me, but I can appreciate it. I love that it's going to work on deeper skin tones, and there's kind of like a shade, there's a lighter shade, a medium and a deep in there, so lots of people can get lots of use out of this, but it's just not my type on paper. And then there's some new shades of the Fenty Heat Gloss. Now, I know you guys are thinking this is a straight pass for me, because you may know that I've used the original Fenty Heat Gloss and wasn't a fan, mainly because it was essentially an invisible burning on the lips. That's the best way I can describe it. There's very little pigment colour or anything else, but it really burned, and I was not a fan for those reasons. So you may be forgiven for thinking this is just going to be a very easy straight pass for me, because I didn't like the original one, but I'm not that sensible. This is kind of slightly tempting me here, because these new shades appear to have a little bit more colour to them. So I'm considering, I won't lie to you, I'm considering dipping my toe back in the water. I know I've been warned, I know that may be crazy to you guys, but I'm willing to give it a second chance, because actually if it had more opacity, more colour, more vroom to the colour and the look, I might forgive some of the burning sensation, which does fade, you know, fairly rapidly. So that one, I'm on the fence. It could be a yes, it could be a no. It's currently a maybe. And then they are releasing their Fly liner in a brown shade, Lover brown liquid liner, but the Fenty one didn't perform the greatest for me. It was decent, but I'm useless at winged liner. I need all the help I can get, and that one was slightly unhelpful to me, because it just wasn't, it just didn't lay down the flick. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I found it hard to use. That's what I'm going to say to you. So I like it on paper, but in practicality, in real life, it's just not quite what I need as far as a liner. I much prefer the KVD Beauty liner. That's what I'm saying. Next up, this Tom Ford Concealer, Shade and Illuminate Concealer. Now, luckily, this is not available here yet. I say luckily because it causes me all manner of issues and problems and setbacks as far as my channel when stuff doesn't get released here, or it gets released here 1,000 years later versus the US release dates. Tom Ford is one of the worst for that. It's months after the US release that we actually can get it here in the UK. And I just want to pull my hair out. But to console myself, to try and find the positive, the rainbow after the storm, the cloud in the sky. What's that one? The silver lining of the cloud is what I was trying to say. What I've told myself is that when this happens, when I lose an opportunity to review something or to be early with a review and useful to anyone and have anyone watch my video, when that opportunity is gone because the product has not released here on time, the positive to that negative is that I get to watch a load of reviews and make a much more informed decision as to whether I want to purchase a product for me versus whether it's good to buy for my channel. So this one is inordinately expensive. It's mad money. I think it's something like $90, and I don't even know what that is in English pounds. I believe, I'm going to guess here, it's around 60 to 70, possibly. Let me Google it. Let's do some work here. 90 US dollars is approximately, £65. I'm not being funny. I said 60 to 70 and it's 65. It's right in the middle. I mean, I'm wasted here. So, feeling very smug. So £65, 90 US dollars. It's a lot of money for a concealer. I don't know that I've seen as expensive a concealer as that before in all of my days. However, as you may have noticed, the Ford Shade Illuminate foundation is my holy grail love of my life. Joy of my heart. Wearing it today, in fact. And that, who would have thought, I mean, it's just sod's law, isn't it? That would be my favourite foundation. It's literally the most expensive foundation I've ever tried. Of course, I would fall in love with it because, you know, karma hates me. What I will say is I will never and have never paid full price for that foundation. I will always wait until I've got some kind of discount, 20% off minimum, before I repurchase that or buy it in a different shade or whatever I'm doing. At least 20% off, because when that's so expensive, that's 20 odd pounds, you know. A good solid £20 and change that you're going to get off of that. And does that make it a bargain? No, it's still double any other foundation, but it's, you know, it's at least two figures instead of three. So I'll take that as a saving. So that's my same thing with this concealer. I feel like by the time it's released here, there'll probably be all kinds of offers and sales on, and we can certainly save some money, and we can watch lots of reviews, make sure we get our correct shade, make sure we're making an informed decision as to whether it's a sensible purchase to us. Do I think this is going to be like 4 times as good as my Pat McGrath when you look at the price comparison? I'd say that's unlikely. I don't know how it could be. I don't know how you could get 4 times better, to be honest, than the concealers that I already own and love. So yeah, I mean, I have seen a lot of people really loving it. I saw that Morgan Turner loved it. Damn you, Morgan. Curse upon your house. I take that back because I don't know if I have the power to actually do that or not, and that's risky. I don't want to risk it because I actually love her very much. So I take that back. No plague upon her houses, okay? But yeah, it looks annoyingly, unfortunately, really good, and I will have to try it. I mean, how could I not when I'm so obsessed with the foundation? Yeah, but I will be waiting for I want at least a 15% off on that, please. Crying out loud. Moving on, what have we got next? Ooh, Patrick Tar mascara. I love a mascara. You guys know I love a mascara. And I hesitate to say I love Patrick Tar because I've had a couple of not so great purchases from the brand recently. When he started off with his brand, it was like everything he released was like a new favourite for me, and I was like, it was becoming one of my ultimate favourite brands. And then we've had a couple of like little fallings out recently, so this could be the product to get me back on board, like as a super fan of the brand. I'll definitely be giving this one a try. It looks good. I like that it seems to be like a super volumizing mascara, which is generally my preference. The brush looks nice. I know Patrick obviously does know exactly what he's doing. So yeah, I'm excited to try this. We'll definitely try it. And yeah, that's all she wrote on that one. Next up, these Milk Liquid blushes, or cream blushes, whatever you want to call them. I mean, it's just a definite no from me. You guys know that's a bit strong. Is it? I don't know. Is that a bit strong? I dislike strongly 99.9% of all cream and liquid products. There are very few that make it through to even being kept in any drawer, not even like a top drawer, but being allowed to just stay in my house. There's very few of these products that have survived more than a couple of goes. Okay, this does, no, I'm not sure about this one. This looks like my worst nightmare kind of blush because it's in a squeezy tube, which I know what you're thinking, but you like the Lisa Eldridge one, but that's Lisa Eldridge, isn't it? I mean, she can do whatever she wants. If she wanted to, she could like come to my house and just fling it over the fence and I'd probably still go out there and whack it on. So that's weird. But yeah, there's nothing about this that appeals to me. Even the photos on the models, it looks very sticky and just shiny, and that's giving me heart palpitations. So this is definitely like a no for me, unless there's some kind of review that could possibly change my mind. But this definitely looks like my nightmare. And it's a brand that I've never really had a great... There's a hair on my nose. One moment, I'll be back. Sorry about that. Is it still there? Milk is a brand that has never managed to like make me feel confident in purchasing from them. Like I'm always like a wait for review, because I feel like they've got some really great products, but they've also got some products that are not so great. So yeah, I'm always kind of a wait for review from the brand, especially when it's something like this, that I don't like them at the best of time, liquid blushes. So at the worst of times, I'd rather smear mud on my face, probably. I don't know, some other kind of metaphor for not liking it. I'd rather not, to be honest. Yeah, so I'll watch some reviews, and if everybody is raving about them, maybe I'll revisit this, but probably not. I'm stubborn that way. Next up, these Galon Kiss Kiss Shine Bloom lipsticks. Why do we have to have about 18 different words in the title of things these days? It's a lot of effort on my part. I mean, I've said this about these lipsticks a few times. I do feel a bit tinted lip balmed out at this point. They're one of like my favourite lip products, particularly in spring and summer. They're like all I want for my handbag. Tinted lip balms all day, the Fenty's, the Charlotte Tilbury's, the other ones that I can't think of right now. But that's kind of my vibe. A lot of the time, year round in fact, but especially in spring and summer. You get it, move on. I like them, is what I'm saying. But I do now at this point have so many of them that in order for me to think, yeah, I want to try that one, or yeah, I need that one, it's got to be like different, something I don't have, or exciting in some way, maybe phenomenal packaging or something to lure me in, to stand out from the crowd, you know? That's what I'm kind of needing in order to be excited about any more of these lipsticks joining my collection. These ones, here's the issue, here's the thing. I don't know if this is just me. Whenever I see these types of products, these sort of sheer shiny tinted lip balm with some colour products, where are the nudes? Why can nobody make nude shades in these types of products? They're always reds, oranges, peaches, which I know that sounds strange coming from me, because that's generally like my bag. That's my cup of tea all day, those shades. But I now have a billion of them. And what I don't really have is nudes, like browns, nudes, everyday neutrals. Why do they not exist in this formula? The only brand I can think of who has like nudes in this type of formula is Fenty. The Cookies and Cocoa and Bubble Rum, like two of my favourite ever, because they're like the only brand who's actually managed to produce nudes in this type of formula. Anyway, I've digressed horribly, in fact. But that rant aside, that's what I think of when I see this picture. I'm like, you know, if they had some nudes, I might be tempted to try them, but these are just all the same colours I already have, times 4073, so it's going to be a pass from me. But please people, when you're bringing out these formulas, bring out some, you know, other shades that aren't related to peach or orange, please. I beg of you. Next up, another fragrance that I wanted to talk about today, because I feel it's one that lots of people are going to be super interested in and tempted by, and it's from Parfums de Marly, one of my favourite niche fragrance brands. And they have a new release, Oriana, has come out. This bottle makes me wheeze, like it makes me feel things. It's glorious. I don't have any of these bottles because when it comes to Parfums de Marly, the one thing I don't love about the brand is that they do like masculine fragrances and feminine fragrances, and the two have different packaging, different bottles, and they are very strongly like, these are our fragrances for men and these are our fragrances for ladies, and they like make the bottles, like the masculine fragrances look more masculine, the feminine fragrances look like this, like femininity threw up on the bottle. I'm sorry, that's disgusting, but that's what it made me think of. I'm sorry about it. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful, feminine, of course. It's gorgeous. My issue is that whenever I look at their feminine, female, these are your perfumes for ladies, none of them appeal to me. They're all far too floral and sweet, and that's not my type of fragrance. I love unisex fragrances. The fragrances I love are generally male, typically male, or they're unisex. As far as I very rarely buy fragrances that are said to be for women, and most niche fragrance brands don't do that. They don't give a gender to a perfume or a smell, because that's not a thing. So I hate that they do that, because I'm just like, I feel like it's kind of dictating how a woman should smell versus how a man should smell, and I apparently want to smell like a man, and I'm not sorry about it. So there's that. There's another, this just whole video is just full of rants, to be honest. So I know that Delina is like hugely popular fragrance for Parfums Somali. I don't actually like it. It's just much too floral and sweet for my personal taste, but I do realise it's incredible for performing, very, very good longevity and everything, but it's just not my style of perfume. I'm sure that hair is still there. Oriana definitely kind of falls more into that, but I'm slightly intrigued by a couple of the notes here. Marshmallow is one that I have really enjoyed before. In the Love Don't Be Shy by Kilian, Love Don't Be Shy Extreme that I own and really enjoy, that has marshmallow in it. And also just the fruits at the top are quite, those tart fruits, grapefruit, you know, mandarin, bergamot. It's got a very, there's something intriguing about it. It also has amber and musk in the base, which does intrigue me. I've seen a lot of the reviews comparing this to Love Don't Be Shy, which slightly puts me off, because obviously I own Love Don't Be Shy Extreme. Is it going to be a repeat for me? I'm not 100% sure. So I'm definitely at this moment on the fence. Again, it's kind of on my list that I'll probably purchase it at some point, keeping an eye on reviews, but it's not one that I've like rushed out the door, because it's essentially the bottle that is sucking me in, and I'm just going to decide to not look directly at it. So now, last but by no means least, the Armani Eccentrico eyeshadow palette. I happened upon this on Selfridges. I do like a daily check of all of the beauty websites just to see if there's anything new popped up that we need to know about, we need to hear about. And I saw this. I posted it on my Instagram, and it was hilarious, because like the feelings I was experiencing, you guys were just verbalizing them very, very well. Like there was literally 50-50%. Wow, oh my god, isn't she, oh that's stunning, it's so different, wow, that's something that's exciting, wow that's gorgeous, I want it. And then the other 50% who were just like categorically no, what is that, what a disaster, definitely not. So it's obviously very controversial, this palette, which is, you know, brands I guess are probably going for that, you know, people are talking about it, that's for sure. So I hear you. Here's the thing, this looks ginormous. Lots of people were quite disappointed that this isn't like a blush highlight palette, and I completely understand it. I get it, because this would be one, much easier to use. You imagine sort of a blush brush swirled in here, it doesn't really matter what colours you get, it's just going to give you a mix of all the gorgeous, some highlight, some blush, you're going to get a bit of luminosity. I could get on board with that. But this is an eyeshadow palette, and obviously I guess you could use it on the cheeks, but I think that would be a mistake, because there is a lot of much lighter shades in there. So I do feel like if you just swirled a blush brush in here, you're probably going to get a bit of a chalkiness on the cheeks, but who knows, obviously very skin tone dependent. My issue with this is it looks absolutely stunning and glorious, but it's completely ridiculously impractical in my opinion. Like, how are you really even going to begin to like get the right shades that you want onto your eye? And actually when you look at the swatches, they look very light and a lot of the time chalky, and I'm not really sure that you know where you were going. And some of that bottom sort of pearly section, I don't even know how you're getting any eyeshadow brush in there really. And yeah, it's just, it looks like a logistical nightmare. And I'm definitely not someone who buys makeup because it looks pretty and I just want to leave it pristine on my vanity to like look at and enjoy. I know some people do really like to collect gorgeous pieces like this. So this is like got your name on it if you're someone who likes to do that. But I'm not, if I don't think like see myself really using that and enjoying it, I don't want it. And this is £99, by the way. So that's like an expensive decoration. If this is not also going to perform really beautifully and be gorgeous and give you loads of options, you could buy a Pat McGrath palette almost for that. So that would be my advice. So it's a pass for me. Do I love to look at it? Sure. Do I think it's gorgeous and glorious and beautiful to look at? Yes. Do I think it's going to be a useful eyeshadow palette? Definitely not, to be honest. So there you have it. Those are all of the new releases I have to talk about today. I'm so sorry that this video is like inordinately long for a Will I Buy It video, but like I said, there was a lot to talk about today. And I also included numerous rants for no apparent reason, so I can only apologise for that. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.